Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is Christian here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to be doing a little mini review, and I created the eye look that I'm wearing right now today using the Natasha Denona Star Palette. So I told you guys that this video was going to be coming, and here it is, you guys. So we're gonna start with the eye look that I created. It's a very simple, very easy, very effortless look. It is the look that I most often wear when I use this palette because I love the way that these colors look together. And I just think that they are really, really good eyeshadows, you guys. The mattes, I do like the mattes. The glitter shades can be a little bit trickier to work with. So I am going to give you guys some swatches. I'm going to tell you what I think, if I think it is worth the money, and all of that good stuff. So if you guys are interested in seeing how to get this very simple, purpley, pinky kind of eye look, and then wanting to get my final opinion on this particular palette, then you are in the right place, and you are definitely going to want to keep watching. But before we get into that video, I just want to say, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Subscribing to my channel, you guys, just ensures that you do not miss any future upcoming videos. And if you're not new to my channel, you guys, welcome back. Thank you for continuing to join and support. And yeah, guys, let's just go ahead and break down this ridiculously expensive, overpriced palette. And I think I pretty much just told you what I think of it. Okay, so thanks for watching. See you next time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're definitely gonna get into it. So yeah, guys, we're gonna start with this eye look, and then we'll do the review at the end. So just go ahead and keep on watching. All right, guys. So we are gonna go in with the Natasha Denona Star Palette, and I have been literally using this thing every day. I really wanted to test it out for you guys, get a full understanding of how all of the shades work, how all of the shadows work. So we're going to quickly do some sort of eye look. I'm not sure what exactly, and then I'm going to go over how I feel about this palette. All right, I think I'm going to start with the shade Flesh, which is this shadow right here. And I have already primed and set my eyeshadow. I'm taking the Sephora Pro Crease Brush, the number 10. And I am going to just work that slightly above the hood of my eye. Small circular motions in the outer corner, and then bring it in. This has quickly become one of my favorite brushes, you guys. I absolutely love this brush. If you can still get it on Sephora's website, I definitely recommend it. I know it had gone on sale for like $10 or $11, so I ended up picking up a backup of this brush. That's how much I love it. I'm gonna take my MAC brush that I'm not exactly sure what number this is because I've had it for such a long time and the numbers have rubbed off. But so if I can find it, I'm gonna try to get better about linking products down in the description box, you guys. So if I can figure out what number this brush is, I will let you know. And then I'm gonna go in with the shade, this guy right here, this shade right here in the palette. And I'm basically going to do the exact same thing, just a little bit lower. And then I'm going to go back in with my Sephora brush and just kind of marry those two shades together with no additional products. They're very similar in tone. Now what I'm going to do is, because I want a little bit of pink in this look, we're going to take this guy right here, which is called Vega, and I'm going to go in with the Sephora Pro Tapered Crease Brush, and this is the number 19, and I'm going to pick that up. And then I'm going to kind of sweep it above the first color just to get a little bit of pink tint in the look. It was a very subtle difference, but now I have that hue of pink in there. So whenever I go in with the next shade, which is going to be Phoenix, which is this guy right here, it'll help with the blending a little bit more. My MAC 217, and I'm gonna go in with this color right, that is not my MAC 217. This is my MAC 217. And I'm going to kind of build this color up on the outer V. And then I'm going to take it directly into my crease. And then I'm going to go back in with the Sephora Pro Crease, number 10. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that shade. And then I'm going to just kind of start blending together. And I'm just doing very short motions, circular motions. I'm not even taking the brush off of my lid. Back in with the Pro Crease number 10 brush. And then I'm going to go back in with that light pink shade, which is this guy right here. And just kind of dust and blend. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Morphe E17 and I'm going to go in with the shade Electrica, which is this guy right here. And we're just going to add a little bit more definition. So I'm going to take this color, this brush on the outer corner, and then I'm just going to kind of push the product into the lid. And then with my MAC 221 brush, I'm going to pick a little bit more of that up. And then I'm going to kind of blend it into the crease. Alright guys, so I just slightly cleaned off my Morphe M433 with a little bit of my Sephora Daily Brush Cleanser. This stuff dries instantly, so there is no wait time in between shades. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that Phoenix shade, or the Electra shade, on a semi-clean brush. And I'm just going to wiggle that a little bit more to deepen up my crease. Now what I'm going to do is take my Too Faced glitter glue and we are going to put that directly. I'm going to take a little bit on my finger and press it in. And then I'm going to take my MAC 242 and I'm going to go in with actually one of my favorite shades in the palette, and it's this shade right here. Typically do my eye makeup first, so I don't really care about fallout, but since I already have my full face on, I'm just going to press it. I'm not going to swipe because we want to try to eliminate fallout. I'm just going to press the color onto the lid. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Gemma, I believe it is. And I'm going to take that on the brush that we were working with earlier, which is the Morphe E17. And then I'm going to go back in with the 217 or 242 with no additional product. And then just kind of blend those two shades together. Now what I'm going to do to bring a little bit of definition in the crease, I'm going to use the same brush, same shade, and just ever so slightly blend all of this together. And you know the drill, we're going to go back in with that original pink shade Sephora Pro number 10 brush. And then we are going to blend everything one more time, like so. Now we're gonna move on to the lower lash line. We're gonna start with this color right here. Even though we did not put very much of it on the lid, I wanna have a little bit of a smokier lower lash line. So I'm gonna take the Sephora, this is like a flat definer brush. I'm sorry, this is a MAC, like a flat definer brush. And I'm gonna push this directly into my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the Morphe E36, which is like a pencil brush, and then I'm going to go in with this pink shade that we've been using the entire time. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put my lip on, finish my lashes off camera, and then I will be right back. All right, guys, and this is the completed eye look. Very simple, very easy. It doesn't require too much effort. It's just a lot of blending colors together. I do love this eye look. I have worn this a lot with this particular eyeshadow palette. This is like my favorite eye look to wear with this palette, which is why I decided to go ahead and show this particular eye look for you guys today. All right, guys, so let's get into my thoughts and opinions on this particular palette. Okay, so the nitty gritty, it is $169. No matter how you slice it, no matter what you say, you have to pay $169 plus taxes if you want this palette. Okay, so I know that you'll hear a lot of people say that it comes with 18 shadows. 18 divided by 169 comes out to, I think it's less than $10 a shadow, which all of that is fine and good and great. However, I cannot buy these shadows for $9 a piece. I have to buy this entire palette. So that is a hard pill to swallow. Now, I believe Natasha Denona single eyeshadows retail for like 21 bucks a piece or somewhere in that range. So when you compare it like that, then yes, this palette, when you break it down like that, it is a really good deal. But for somebody who is just starting out in makeup or somebody who is not a big makeup enthusiast, you want your $169 to go a very long way. You want to know that it is top of the line. You want to know the truth. You want to know if it's actually worth the money. It doesn't matter what people say as far as actually being a good value when you start dividing and multiplying, adding and subtracting. No, because when you buy this palette, it comes as a set. You cannot go on Natasha Denona's website and buy these shadows for $9 a piece. So let's just get that out of the way. Now, is all of that true? Yes. Does it make this palette more valuable if you have the $169 to spend? Yes, it does. So I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying that that doesn't really make me feel better when I hit checkout and the total comes up as, you know, over $170 for an eyeshadow palette. It doesn't really help me sleep at night. You know what I mean? Okay, so the way that you guys, I would recommend buying this palette if you are super interested in trying a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette and you really want to know what the hype is, my personal opinion as how you should buy this particular palette is on the Beautylish website. So no matter what, the palette is still going to cost you the same amount of money, and I've mentioned it on my channel before, but Beautylish allows you to buy products as long as it's over $100. It doesn't matter what you buy on their site. You can buy everything on their site. As long as it is over $100, they allow you to break it down into 3 equal payments. So a lot of times I will buy things on Beautylish that I really, really want, and you know, that's how I bought my Viseart palettes, I think. I don't know, but I buy a lot of stuff off of Beautylish, and it just lets you break it down into payments. There's no interest, there's no finance charges, nothing like that. So that, I just think that whenever it comes to bigger items like this, that is a good way to go, because even though you're paying the same amount, you don't feel it all at once. Okay. So, like I was mentioning, this palette does come with 18 shadows. Okay, so 4 of them are what Natasha Denona describes as her crystal shadows. There are 9 matte shades in this palette as well. There are 3 metallics, and then there would be classified 2, and then there would be 2 what would be classified as duochromes. Okay, so this palette is broken down, as you can kind of see, it is broken down into like 2 separate like halves. You have one half that is going to be your more warm side, and then you're going to have one half that's going to be your more cool side. Warm side of the palette, you get these 9 shades right here. So the 2 that would be her new formulation of like the crystal eyeshadows in this quadrant would be Spectrum and Cosmo. So what Natasha Denona says that these are eyeshadows that are created with, so they are created with like a crushed diamondy pearl, which is going to make the shadows super reflective, super intense, super high shine. Now, that new formulation is my least favorite formulation in the palette. I'm not a huge fan of that particular formulation. And there are 1, 2, 3, and there are 4 of those shades in the palette that are that new formulation. To me, I don't want to say gritty because gritty sounds bad, but they are not very blendable. They are not very smooth. They have the most amount of glitter fallout that you will ever experience. Okay, that's being a little dramatic, but there is a ton of glitter fallout with those particular shadows. They don't apply onto the eye very easily. You 100% have to use a glitter glue with those particular shades. Now, I can make them work. And like I've mentioned, I have used every single shade in this palette, and those are harder to work with. Now, if those shades had been pulled out and like some more mattes had been thrown in, or some more duochromes had been thrown in, or any other formulation that she has had been put in this palette would have been a 100% hit in my opinion. Is it still worth the $170? That I still don't ever think that anything is going to be worth $170, especially when we're talking eyeshadows. Had it been in the $100 price range, I absolutely would have been like, yes, it's worth the money, go buy it right now. But $200 for an eyeshadow palette, you guys, it's just a lot, and I can't recommend it because out of 18 shadows, there's 4 in here that I just absolutely do not like. So I will still use them. They are still workable, but I don't like them. It's not a palette that I would return because I have literally used this palette every day, and I have created some really beautiful, effortless, easy looks out of this palette. I just don't use those 4 shadows. So the matte shades she says that also there is a new formulation of her matte shades, and they're going to be a lot creamier. They're going to have a lot better consistency, and there will be absolutely no fallout with the particular matte shades. That is a claim that is made by Natasha Denona. That is a claim that I can stand by. Matte shades in this palette are absolutely amazing. They blend easy, it's effortless, it's foolproof, they work extremely well. So I definitely give her 2 thumbs up on the formulation of her matte shades. I think that they are absolutely stunning. Matte shades on the warm side would be these shades right here. So Earth, Flesh. Gemma is classified as a matte shade, but I do feel like it has a little bit of a reflect to it, so it does come off with a little bit of a shine. It's also one of my favorite shadows in the palette, which would be the shade right here, which is Gemma, which is this guy swatched on the back of my hand. On those particular eyeshadow palettes, it was the shimmer, the metallics that made those particular palettes. In my opinion, it's the mattes that make this particular palette. So the other type of formulation that come in this palette are the duochromes in this particular palette would be Orion and Supernova, and those are really great shadows as well. Again, the only shadows that I do not like in here are the new formulation of her crystal whatever. It's fancy for saying not good, maybe not good. So I'm not hating on the palette. I just wish that for the price tag, everything in here was like out of the park. Okay. So the way that this palette is designed, like I mentioned, there is a more cool tone and a more warm tone. Now, another cool thing about this particular palette is you can see that they are designed in rows of 3, and she designed it to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more effortless for you to kind of put your makeup looks together, meaning when you go this way, these shades can be used together. When you go this way, these shades can be used together. And when you go this way. So I'm not good with directions, but I'm gonna go ahead and say vertical, horizontal, and what's the other one? Vertical, horizontal, and whatever. You guys know what I mean. Diagonal. There you go. That no matter which way you look at the palette or the shades within the palette, they all will work together. So basically what that means is if you are new to makeup, or if you just wanted to try something a little bit more luxury and you get a palette like this and then you're like, huh, what do I do? You can take these 3 shades right here, and I mean, I wouldn't just take these 3 shades right here. We got to throw a transition shade up in there somewhere. So like this little pink guy right here, and then you could just create an easy look. And I think that this is a beginner friendly palette in the sense of that the mattes, they practically do blend themselves. Like, I'm not even gonna hate and say that there's anything wrong with these matte shadows because they are bomb. So they practically, like I said, they practically do blend themselves. They look beautiful on the eye. They don't skip. I have tried them with different brushes, different formula, or different eyeshadow primers, different bases, no bases. I typically do like to put it on a primer, but just to see how these shadows perform, I have tried everything, you guys. I have been using this palette religiously almost for an entire month. When I say that I use it practically every single day, I have used it every single day. And originally I was using this palette because I just wanted to post my review. So I like to use a palette exclusively for a few days, see if I like it, test it out, and then post my review. And I still, even after that week was up, I still reached for this palette. I still use this palette. I still think that this is a really, really good palette. I do not think it is necessary. Like I mentioned, I believe in my haul video, this is one palette that when I look at, there is not a shadow in here, there is not a shade in here that I would not use. Every single one of these eyeshadows complement each other. They work well together. I think it was, in that aspect, a well thought out, a well put together palette in that regard. I think it's a good palette, you guys, but this is one of those ones where I'm gonna just have to be like, you know, I always tell you guys, yes, I definitely think it's worth the money. It's worth you checking out. No, I don't think it's worth the money. I think that you should leave it where it is. This is one of those situations where I think that I'm going to say that you should make that decision for yourself because of the price tag of the palette. Even if every shade in here was bomb, even if I love this palette, which I actually really do, I don't feel comfortable saying that a $179 palette is worth it. You know what I mean? Like, but I do think it's good. I think if you were curious in trying it, I do think that if you have the money to spend, if you are a makeup junkie, I definitely think that you would not be disappointed upon getting this palette. With the exception of those 4 shades, again, that I just didn't like. I think overall, anybody who has this palette, I think that they would like it. You might not love it, you might not consider it holy grail status, but I do think you would like it. I do think it is a palette that you could reach for year round. I think it is a beautiful palette for like the fall and the winter time, but I think that it can be used in, you know, in the summer and the spring as well, at least for me, because I'm a very neutral tone girl and I love neutral tone eyeshadows. It's good, you guys. That's all I can say. I don't want to be a dead horse. You kind of saw how that they blended on my eyes, how they work really well together, how they pair together. So I do give this palette 2 thumbs up. I do wish that it was a little bit more affordable. One thing I will say, I'm not huge. I know a lot of people like the packaging of this. I don't like it. I don't love the packaging as far as like the stars and just, I don't really think that this screams $129 or $170 value when you just look at the packaging. I did not mention it does have the magnetic closure, so it does stay closed. It does, as you guys can see, because of the fallout on some of the shades, it does get pretty dirty pretty easily, and I just kind of clean it off in between uses, or when I remember to do that. I'll just really quickly tell you guys what my favorite shades are in the palette. My favorite shades, I believe you pronounce that Rhea. I could be wrong. I love Phoenix. I use Electra all the time. Gemma. I really like Flesh as a really good transition color. I use this color down here very often. I use this in every single eye look. So those are my personal favorite shades in the palette. I love those shades. I use them practically every day. This is the look that I'm wearing right now, like I mentioned, is my favorite look with this palette, and I used all of those shades in this particular look. So yeah, guys, that is my quick rundown on the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette, the Natasha Denona Star Palette. So I really hope that you found that kind of helpful. I really hope that you found it useful. If you were on the fence about it, again, just purchase it through the Beautylish website, because that way Beautylish has really great shipping, Beautylish has really great return policy, and overall I just really like the way that they work. So if you get it and you're like, no, then you can just send it back so easily through them. And I know Sephora has really great return policies as well, but Sephora don't let you pay things off in payments. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button before you head out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.